2004 World Juggling Federation Championships from Las Vegas, Nevada. Today we're going to be starting with the best in the intermediate club division and then moving on to the 7+ club team passing finals. That's 7 clubs and more. Some go up to 10 clubs, but very few. I'm Penn, Jillette, and joining me is one of the world's smartest men when it comes to juggling, Jennings.
Thanks, Penn. Let's get started.
Here's a few basic things that'll help you understand the terminology that we use to describe what you're seeing here. Back crosses are, of course, throws that go behind the back. Flats are throws that do not spin at all. A 180 is a half turn underneath objects thrown in the air. A 360 is a complete turn, and a shower pattern is where one hand does all the throwing and the other hand does all the catching. Here's the rundown on how this competition will be scored. Each move that the competitors execute is valued at a different level of difficulty. All competitors must execute 13A, 10B, and 5 C-level moves. DE and X-level moves are extremely difficult moves and get bonus points. You can also get bonus points by connecting one move right into another. We'll be back with the intermediate club routines from Scotty Cavanaugh and Ivan Pecel right after this.
The 2004 World Juggling Federation Championships is brought to you by The Passing Zone, America's #1 comedy and juggling duo at PassingZone.com. The WJF.com for the very best instructional books, videos, and juggling equipment.
Okay, we're back and just getting started with the intermediate club competition finals. We're starting off with Scotty Cavanaugh from San Diego, California. Now be prepared because you're going to see a lot of dropping in these competitions. This is juggling at a level you've probably never seen before, and at this high of a level, there are going to be mistakes. If a competitor is having an off day, their whole routine can turn into a total train wreck, and that's what we're all hoping for.
Oh, absolutely. Train wrecks are always entertainment.
Under the leg throws every time, which makes you hop around like a crazy monkey. His back crosses look good. Of course, remember this is 3. The advanced, you'll be seeing this kind of stuff with 5. Oh, a lot of running around there. There's deductions every time he moves. There's a 360, 3 up, 360. Very good. Oh, that was a 720 almost. I'd call that probably a 710 exactly.
These are 2 nice club moves done underneath a high throw, transitioning into flat overhead, no spinning of the club at all. Very difficult to control those throws without spinning the club.
More of that chin balance that the judges, hop up to the head, hop even further up the head.
But that hopping up is just not going to count for any points because it's just a trick with one club. Now the heel kick will count because he's going back into a juggle then, but the little hoppy things.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that was
There's
great.
the back flip. Now the juggling wasn't that hard on that, but it was a very hard back flip.
Every move of the feet, every arm out of position, every catch on the wrong end, all of those things are at least a 0.01 deduction.
Yeah, well, with this scoring system, nobody's going to get a perfect 10 for a while.
Yeah.
Okay. You should have tried the super glue on that one, huh? Okay, a little bit of trouble with the 4 back crosses.
Nothing but deductions there. They all went behind the back. One he caught on the wrong end and he didn't keep juggling, so that scores him a total of 0 points. But he's accumulated at least 0.05 deductions for all that moving around.
Why don't you hop it up to your head and then kick it over the back? Oh, not with 4. He's not going to do that. And he's posing. What's the big deal? What are you, a seal? And there he is with doing his 5. That's not a bad 5. His feet are moving around a little bit. And then it's just a fancy catch. And bowing gets you absolutely no points either, by the way.
Now, this is amazing right here. He bounces a club from one part of his face to another. Unfortunately, it gets him no points because that is a 1 club move, and he doesn't use all 3. Now that blind kick gets him points because he does that right into a 3 club juggle, so that's a 3 club start move.
Nothing hit the ground.
Hey, that's the point, isn't it?
Yeah. And I don't think the judges even noticed the catches on the wrong end. They weren't even...
Don't tell him.
Oh, sorry.
Thanks. Up again.
What do you think your score is going to be?
How about a 5-9 again, huh? Let's do it.
And the result for Scotty is 5.07.
Hey, good enough, huh?
Up next is Ivan Pecel.
When I first started juggling, the very first video that I ever saw was just this horrible, teach yourself how to do 3-ball thing. And the guy was explaining on video how he was one of the best in the world, and after about 2 months, I could do everything on this video. And so I went to the first convention literally thinking that I was the best. I was like 12 years old. I walked into the convention thinking, you know what? I'm gonna blow everybody away because I could do a Mills mess, and the guy was saying, oh, this is the best guy in the world on the video. And I get there, and one of the first things I see is Garfield doing like 8 rings, and I was just like, I just wanted to go home. And so I wish I would have seen juggling like this at the very beginning, and it would have just pushed me so much harder.
So Ivan here is in pretty good shape. He gets a lot of his cardiovascular exercise from juggling, but he of course lifts weights for strength training. These clubs he's juggling are not heavy enough, nor is he using enough range of motion to build his muscle with just juggling, so he lifts weights to increase his strength to prepare for long endurance runs in anticipation of possessing the skill to do that someday.
He's working on it.
And there is a nice 3-up, 360. I guess he should be less mean with the intermediate. Ivan started off his juggling training with pretty bad form, which was a direct result of practicing with and emulating another juggler who had really bad form as well. So now Ivan has been trying to correct this form, which is really hard to do after you've learned everything a certain way. So that might hurt him here.
I really hate the way he lifts his arm up for no reason when he does these quarter turns. And that's a very nice 3-up 360 in single spins.
I believe Jason Garfield helped him correct his form on that one.
Naturally.
And a beautiful 3-up 2-stage 720 with the left leg going way too far back behind his body. He was probably just in a groove and couldn't control himself. Oh, that's going to be a hell of a deduction. He ended up on one knee. That is so close to just falling down.
And another heel kick coming up. Yep, there we go.
Now, Ivan can kick anything from behind his back. You could throw a dog back there and he'd kick it up back into his arms.
Why didn't he do that in competition?
He looks good, really good kind of sport juggling attitude. Starting with the club on the forehead, which never makes Penn happy, and juggling 3 clubs, and you'll probably knock it off into a, for always doing the chin thing first, of course.
Drops down into 4 clubs in single spins. You'll notice that the pattern for 4 is 2 in each hand. This basic pattern does not cross. That's the same for all even numbers. Now there's a more advanced crossing pattern. The right hand crosses in doubles, and the left hand crosses in singles.
Back to synchronize for a 4-up 360, almost falling down again, racking up the deductions. Oh man, now, as funny as that is, the judges will take deductions for that. If you want to be cool and have someone throw your club to you from off stage, you won't get points for catching it, but the judges view that as part of the routine and will deduct points if there's an error. So don't have your competitor throw you the club.
Absolutely. And honestly, not that funny. And Ivan's result is 5.06.
I know where you sleep, pal.
5.06, losing to Scotty Cavanaugh by 1/100th of a point. And in the other club competitions, Vova Galchenko wins just about everything. But in the endurance competition, all competitors qualified at the 6-club level, but only one competitor qualified at the 7-club level, and it wasn't Vova. Toby Walker wins the club endurance competition with 30 catches of 7 clubs. I've never seen anyone else in the whole world do that in competition. I dare anyone to beat that. Really, anyone in the world. Just try it. So Scotty Cavanaugh wins the 2004 World Juggling Federation Intermediate Club competition with a 5.07, beating Ivan Pecel's 5.06. Can't wait to see those guys go at it again next year. Coming up, the United States, Germany, and Russia go head-to-head in the advanced 7+ club competition finals right after this. We're back and just getting started with the finals of the 7+ club passing competition. Here's some of the basic terminology that's used. Now, ultimate passing refers to a pattern where both jugglers pass to each other using both hands, as opposed to the basic pattern in which they pass with their right and juggle to themselves with the left. Back-to-back is, of course, passing while standing back-to-back. Back to front, well, you can use the same formula for decoding what actually is going on. Tomahawks are throws made like this. Shoulder throws are passed over the shoulder, and back crosses are passed behind the back. There, that's all you need. Now you're an expert on juggling lingo. We're starting with Olga and Vova Galchenko from Penn, Russia. And you start out with 7 like it's nothing. Now, Olga and Vladimir are trained by Jason Garfield. He kind of does everything in juggling, and one of the best things he does is train. And so you need some credit for doing this, although I just think the raw material here is astonishing.
Well, yeah, they're both prodigies, but without the proper instruction, their full potential could never be reached.
Right. Now, all these tricks with 7 that they're doing, most people can't do any of these with 6. They do them really easily. Look at that. Just everything is comfortable. Now watch the difference we've watched club passing before here. You want to watch the hands of the catchers. That's what's really interesting, and see how much they're correcting, because when the club hits the ground, which it may not at all with the Galchenkos, when the club hits the ground, you usually want to look to the opposite side from where it hit for whose fault it is. Look at those throws are perfect. When Vova, he just drops the clubs right into her hand. And watch as she does those catches. See, well, she had to do a big correction there. I mean, big corrections for the Galchenkos. For anybody else, that would have just hit the floor, but Olga snags it out of the air like a vacuum cleaner. Okay, both of them back-to-back. That transition, I haven't seen anyone else do, and I don't think anyone else has either. They invent these transitions. I believe that Jason, their trainer, just says, now turn back-to-back and keep juggling. That may be a lot of his input on this. You know, that's the gig I want, training these two. If you saw them, a couple years ago, I saw Olga and Vova, and they really are much, much better. What Jason brought to them was the throws being better. They've always been able to save anything.
And they seem to be having fun up there, as long as the clubs stay off the floor.
Most jugglers don't even bother buying this many clubs.
Well, they are $35 each.
Oh man, that was a 4-up 360 done by both of them. This is another move that no other team has ever done, along with all the other things they do that no one has ever done.
Or even attempted.
Oh, man. Oh, now this is 8. Remember, you probably can't count them. They're juggling them. You can't count them. They're doing 8, and they're doing, look at that, like nothing. Like they just finished brushing their teeth, although Olga's a little happier. Look at that. Come on, Olga.
And so now they're moving on to 9 clubs.
This is the only trick I can do. Let me comment on it.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Now, 9 clubs is a big deal. I mean, I did 9 clubs years and years and years ago with Mike Motion. They're starting out with triples, and now they're going to doubles. And, oh, come on! Now they're doing singles.
Penn, did you and Motion ever do 9 in singles?
Shut up! Yeah, they're doing 9 clubs back-to-back just because they hate me.
Did you and Motion ever do 9 back-to-back?
Shut up! Oh, now they're going to do 10 clubs just to rub it in.
Oh, yes, because they hadn't won by the 9 club routine. Like they could have stopped after 7 and they still would have won. Just perfect form. Couple little shuffling steps, minor deductions.
Oh, yeah, well, Olga's kind of okay. We just blah, 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 blah. I hate that. There we go. There's that transition. 7 clubs back-to-back. Yeah, he stepped forward once. Vladimir stepped forward once. Amazing. But here's the most impressive move. Look at that smile. Look at the joy. Look at the happiness. Look at that. If she drops a club, it goes full speed in reverse. Never anything like that in the history of the world. Perfect.
Okay, the score for Vova and Olga Galchenko, 9.86.
.86 because, you know, they move their feet around a little. But 0 drops, not 1 drop. Remember that as we watch the other teams. Okay, here come the Germans in their white shirts and shorts to represent Deutschland after the Ruskies have gotten through, I think, just kicking some serious juggling butt here. They're going to kick up from 6 into 7. I think you remember that the Galchenkos kicked from 8 into 9, but who's counting?
Well, apparently we are, but let's hope the judges are.
Listen how nice those clubs sound as they hit their. Okay, they don't sound that nice when they hit the floor.
No, that's not a nice sound.
Once again, there's no pressure. You have to remember how good the Galchenkos are. This is kind of like watching the best kid that you ever heard of boxing, and then seeing Tyson. It's just a whole. Okay, that was one club. They're doing one club passing there.
And in connection with 7.
Yeah, right. Look how much foot movement there is.
And when they're not even really working on any moves, just correcting the basic pattern. They're just panicking now. They just need to calm down.
You notice that when you're watching Olga and Vova, they always look like they're controlling the situation. There's no fear. And on everyone else, and I mean everybody else, I don't want to pick on the Germans, every single other person, there's a little bit of panic while the juggling's going on.
Right.
I think in all of the tricks they've done with 7, we haven't seen one where they looked like it was cake for them.
Yeah, they're really pushing their ability, and that level is just nowhere close to the Galchenkos.
But I'll tell you, when you're seeing the way they're doing 7, which is working so hard, you can't help but think that the 8 and 9 are going to be, scary. They're going to do some of the side-by-side stuff.
Another drop.
I love the side-by-side stuff, and they're giving up on it. They're giving up on the side-by-side by 7. They're doing a balance thing here. He's doing 3, and he's walking by. Now, the way I read the rules, every step is a deduction, but I could be wrong there. That might have hurt them a lot. Now, there's a transition to back-to-back from the front, and this is also credited to the Galchenkos. It's not the same move they use, but no one was doing transitions at all. They also did a back-to-back to back-to-front, and they end with relief as opposed to ennui. And they're going into 9 clubs. And look at every throw is a struggle, every catch.
Working really hard. Is that going to be clean? No way.
Well, they almost got it. They didn't make 9 clubs, and he picks up 10. Because, if you can't do 9, sometimes 10 is easier. Let's just see how they do with 10.
That's never going to happen.
They're doing 10. Well, not anymore.
No.
Dropping the club is usually the worst thing you can do in juggling. He just fell down. I don't know if there's even a deduction for dropping yourself. Now they go back to that fakakta head balance thing. Every time they get in trouble, they do a head balance. And he's walking around like a crab.
Now those steps would definitely count as deductions.
Now once again, please remember, I can't do any of this, and neither can you. So neither can they. But they're having so much trouble they can't even stay standing up.
Well, imagine their thought process coming out after the Galchenkos. It's just so difficult.
There's that crab walk again. Deduction for every move of the foot, and they're both moving.
The best thing, it's over.
Okay, for us?
For us, yes, because now we can have some beers.
The score for Philip Prochnow and Thorsten Barucha, 8.24.
So we have an 8.24 for the Germans, not a bad score. They're in second place so far. We come back, the Americans, Jonathan Root and Bill Berry, will represent the United States as our final team competitors for this event. We'll be right back.
The 2004 World Juggling Federation Championships is brought to you by The Passing Zone, America's #1 comedy and juggling duo at PassingZone.com. The WJF.com for the very best instructional books, videos, and juggling equipment.
Welcome back to the World Juggling Federation Advanced 7+ Club Team Passing Competition. Right now, our final competitors, Jonathan Root and Bill Berry, are about to start.
Juggling for us it's not something we do, it's something we are. Juggling is our life. It is our passion. It's our driving pursuit. It's what, you know, juggling has been our sanctuary. You know, we've lived more in a gym than we've lived in our house. Juggling is where we belong. So find your passion.
Well, you know, the Americans, as always, are the best in the interviews. Let's see how they do in the juggling. These guys really love to juggle. They're wonderful performers.
But all the time they spent practicing their smiling, their posing, their finger pointing, it's useless here. To win this competition, you have to spend every waking hour practicing your technical skill. That is all we care about here.
You know, they're juggling, and there's no reason whatsoever to comment on the size of the tall guy's ears.
No reason at all.
That's got nothing to do with juggling whatsoever. Nice ending. Their 7 was nice and clean. Nothing's hitting the floor. They're already doing better than the Germans. With that high five thing, the judges are going to hate that high five thing.
I deduct points for the clubs colliding.
You know, I like one tall guy in the juggling duo. I was a lot taller than Mike Motion, my partner, and I wish I could say that it made it harder. It doesn't. Having a tall guy is just longer arms to be able to catch those really bad throws that he's being handed.
And you can see them taking advantage of the long arms right here.
That was a drop. And in true American style, he's proud of the drop. And they're going back and forth on whose fault it is and being very brave about that.
I think it was both of them had problems in there. And they go back to this A-level move here, and they pull it off as easily this time as you would expect it to be done. And now they're moving on to A clubs.
I should point out, I guess, because I can't talk much about the juggling, I'll talk about the clubs. Clubs for juggling are specially made. These are not bowling pins or anything found in nature. You go to a club manufacturer, they're light, they're plastic, they have nice handles. Back in the old days, we juggled fiberglass clubs or wood clubs and smashed our hands up. At least they don't hurt their hands, they'll only be hurting their pride. That was a nice 8 with the back catch behind. Very nice. I don't know why they do that catch between the other two in the pose thing. But they're just shoulders. That's all they're doing. They're going to end with 8, and they're happy about it. That was fine. Not many clubs missed. They represented the Americans fine. They were fine. They were better in the interviews. They have better smiles. And if we were judging on ear size, the United States would sweep it.
The score for Jonathan Root and Bill Berry, 8.33.
8.33. They beat the Germans. Jonathan and Bill get second place. So we have the Galchenkos in first place, Jonathan Root and Bill Berry in second, Thorsten Barucha and Philip Prochnow in third place. Here they are, Olga and Vova Galchenko, the 2004 World Juggling Federation 7+ club team passing champions, 14 and 17 years old, world champions. From the Riviera Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada, this is Penn, Jillette, along with Ben Jennings saying, learn how to juggle. Thanks for watching.
This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more information, log on to ESPN.com.